current global health crisis imposes far-ranging repercussions on the health and well-being of a country, with quarantines and isolation limiting our basic freedom of movement. The Philippines' premium fiber internet provider eliminates these barriers to keep businesses afloat and to make sure everyone can have meaningful connectivity despite the need to stay apart. I'm Pinky Webb, and this is Business Matters, where doing good is good business. The COVID-19 pandemic has not only brought economic activities worldwide to a near standstill, it also posed a serious challenge to one of the most important functions of society, communication. In the blink of an eye, the virus outbreak altered our day-to-day lives, creating new barriers for people already suffering from illnesses.
The pandemic actually brought out a lot of different challenges. And it happened to many industries, especially the medical one. The pandemic actually made a lot of people afraid to go to medical clinics as much as they needed.
Since the beginning of this crisis, healthcare workers have shown a remarkable dedication despite the risks of getting infected with the virus.
We had to find a way for social distancing. We had to make sure that our patients feel safe. You can't say, let's just wait for the lockdown to finish before we do an ultrasound. Healthcare has to continue. And so that's why HealthCube stayed open even despite the highest surge of the pandemic.
Despite the disruption of health systems around the world caused by the increasing demand for COVID-19 patient care, it is critical to maintain preventive and curative services amid challenges in mobility, especially for the most vulnerable groups.
When the pandemic hit, we were all kind of afraid of what was going to happen. We were also had a lot of questions. For a while, we were not sure if we were going to open. But we knew that patients really needed to go to another place aside from a hospital. They had to see their cardiologists, their endocrinologists, and their children who had to see their pediatricians.
Meanwhile, as the pandemic wears on, many people were exposed to situations linked to financial pressure from business uncertainties or job loss.
We lost 2 months of business. Of course, our people are very important to us, so there were no problems in terms of salary for them. But that was big for us because it was such a big blow for sales.
Being in gift shops since 1987 and earning their keep from corporate events, holidays, and walk-ins, the pandemic has reduced the demand and impacted a huge segment of their sales.
We missed Mother's Day, which is a big occasion for us. And we lost a lot of orders for certain occasions like sympathies. It was really hard because we didn't know what was going to happen. What will we do? Do we have to close first? Do we have to let go of some people? Those are a lot of hard decisions that we were faced with that we had no choice but to make talaga.
But as with any kind of struggle, recognizing the pitfalls diffuses their impact and transforms them into opportunities for growth.
It was back in 2015 when we actually told ourselves that we need to shift into an online business na talaga. I would like to say that we were doing okay, but things happen. Very unfortunate, but at the same time, we told ourselves that we have to adapt. We had to really double down on it. Kasi that's where people were. They were on their phones all the time. Actually look at it in a different perspective. We would be able to actually make good use of the situation as well.
Before shutting doors, a lot of small and medium businesses have had to figure out ways to stay competitive amid the public's hesitation to return to their usual habits. Hence, business innovations that were expected to take years happened in weeks in hopes of being able to bounce back eventually.
It's fight or flight. You can either be eaten up by the moment or tell yourself that no, we have to move forward and we have to really make these decisions because that's really all you can do at that point. It was like a wake-up call for us that, okay, this is a market. Kasi for the longest time, parang kami, hindi, word of mouth, diba? It was a completely different market with completely different purchasing behaviors.
But as everyone scrambled to get online, choosing the right internet service provider also provided to be a dilemma among business owners.
At HealthCube, we always try to think, how can we make the patient experience faster or better? And it's difficult to do that if you don't have the tools. So how do you imagine for it to be faster if your internet connectivity is unreliable, right?
Having ignited a fiber revolution that changes the way Filipinos experience internet, a local telecommunications service provider is keen on providing premium connectivity to home, businesses, and the corporate world.
SMEs had to close down, some of them forever, fortunately. But those who temporarily closed down and then came back were saying that we need internet, but right now we need to manage our finances very well. Our mission is to help our people, the government, and businesses to be globally competitive. We cannot solve all of their problems, but at least we can make sure that connectivity is going to be the least of their concerns.
People are goes to digital already. Efficiency, everything is digital towards that. So what we built Converge right now is the digital highway for throughout the Philippines to help these sectors, enterprise, SME, and consumer.
COVID-19 has affected the way people communicate, but as the pandemic accelerates people's shift away from physical communication, modern digital communication technologies made productive work possible.
Nung dumating si pandemic, dumouble down kami ng kuya ko sa web developer namin, sa mga social media ads namin. Kailangan convenience si customer journey. Every time a client orders, we will take care of that client until it gets delivered.
With a stronger online presence, the owners were astonished that they remained relevant despite restrictions on in-person gatherings and a completely different way of celebrating events.
We lost, I think, a lot of our corporate clients. But like what I said, you have to adapt. When you gain new clients online, you could be referred via online also by them promoting it on social media. We try to cover all angles by using that personal approach and combining it with the convenience of online talaga.
This is also the same technology that allows for an expanded and relatively safer delivery of essential services like health work during the COVID-19 outbreak.
We had to come up with a setup where the patients would be able to still be able to call us and, teach a lola how to open a browser, download an app, because all these technologies were there before. The knowledge about it was actually very low. So we had to provide the platform and the support alongside with it.
To eliminate these potential barriers, the management invested in upscaling their platform, which was made even more efficient by having partnered with the right fiber internet service provider.
We've been using Converge ever since that we started here, and it's actually been very reliable for us because it's so important that we'll be able to click something and get something right away.
This enabled the clinic to providing patients app-based online consultations, access to electronic medical records, lab results, and doctor referrals, teleradiology, and other non-tangible services like patient registration and HMO approval, all on a comprehensive and user-friendly online health portal.
So many success stories, especially in these e-commerce things. No? And this is the benefiting now in our digital life, each individual, especially you want convenience with just fingertips.
Making people experience the best possible fiber connectivity is how this local telco provider helps accelerate small and medium enterprises by giving them reliable and lightning flash internet speed.
Converge will help because Converge, we need to build the right technology in the infrastructure. Serving this unserved and underserved, we provide them also a digital highway and digital solution.
Being in the industry for almost 3 decades, its network now covers over 25% of the Philippine households, or some 7.1 million homes. It also has a varied product line that suits different needs for residential, corporate, and enterprises.
There were both product innovations as well as operating model innovations where you can have double the bandwidth during the time period when you need it the most. Converge believes that the network is the product. We actually design our network using 3 very strict parameters. 1, it must be high availability. Second, it must be low latency. The third piece is really the international. So it's very important to have access to submarine cables that are very direct, so it's low latency.
One thing that makes it stand out among leading broadband solutions is its bandwidth capabilities.
For somebody who needs a reliable and very fast connection, there is no other solution but fiber. The rest cannot match it. Our lowest plan, 1.5, is already 35 megabits. So our average speed cannot go below that. But we do have customers who subscribe to higher speeds.
The company looks forward to bringing top-of-the-line technology in the country in the years to come.
By 2025, we are at the level of Korea, Singapore, and Hong Kong. See, the technology we are using right now is the same with this first world country use.
Building better business relationships with clients stems from maintaining high satisfaction throughout their customer journey.
Converge has helped HealthCube in many different ways.
It's been great for us. It's been supporting our business. We've been thriving with it.
And by delivering on their promise to provide the best possible fiber connectivity in the country, this company has just proved that despite the bad, good things can come out, and they too can happen at lightning speed.
To our customers, a heartfelt thank you. In return, our commitment is to always stay true to our objective of making sure that you experience better. Better products, higher speeds, higher reliability, easier interaction with us.
My aim is to able to bring this new technology to spread all over the Philippines to serve our Filipino consumers para hindi na tayo mapag-iwanan.